Good morning, everybody. This is Friday morning, July 27th, and early morning. So here we're welcoming Andy back, and he wants to talk about his creation.
Oh yes, well, good morning,
So,
everybody. It's only 7 o'clock my time. I've been up for a couple hours already. You know, get all these kids and stuff. Sleep in late. Uh, anyway, good morning, y'all. One of the things that we're going to go over is that I'm trying to get Dave in here because Dave needs to understand that I actually write more than one class. And I actually just want to shock him over the years is what the deal is. But since we've started this chat group in Skype, to give a little background for those that may not know, since we started this chat group, we started out with basically about 5 or 6 of us is about all it was. And the reason why I started the chat group in the first place was because I had been invited over to another one, but it was mainly Spanish. And although I know some words in Spanish, none of them had to do with technical information. So I was kind of lost over there. So that's the main reason why I started it. But I realized at that time that the chat room is good for an immediately talking back and forth to everyone, but it's not very good for having statements, questions, answers, tidbits, all of the things that we want to search, everything that we want to search, everything that what we're looking for, the ability to find different systems out there, find different answers to our problems. We have been very fortunate and very happy that we have now have over 100 people in our chat room. Okay, but that also makes it more difficult. The chat room becomes more and more difficult to handle, as somebody could post a question at 1 a.m. from Australia, or 1 a.m. our time, and the next morning, unless you're specifically looking for it, you have no way to, sometimes you miss it and you may know the answer. Okay. So I went down the path of, trying to figure out, okay, can I just put together a news group? Because the other news groups are moderated and it takes sometimes 12 to 14 hours before your question goes up. It doesn't seem that they're reviewed as often as we would like. Certainly not as fast as the chat room. And then you have the online ones that are out there. And the ones online, I never did like them because it takes too long, or it's too hard to basically find or see if you need to answer any questions for somebody. It really is too difficult. The web, for all of its benefits, has significant drawbacks over just a simple news group. Okay. So I started experimenting and building and farting around and just basically putting together different pieces and came up with the Chatterbox. And what we're doing with the Chatterbox is it is right now cloud-based. Ben Williams is scheduled and looking to build a offline reader for it. So that way those that have the system, we can do offline reader down to hyperfile local, and then you can read them at your leisure, turn them on or off, whatever you need to do, and only hit the web when you need to. Right now it is cloud-based, so you're hitting the web all the time. Okay, that's fine for those that have high-speed internet or decent speed internet. For those that don't, it's going to run a little bit slower, or sometimes quite a bit slower, depending upon your speed. But it does work. So you have the normal set of bars for the ribbon bar that we're going to go through that, what I did and how things will work and how that button affects this browse. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to make that happen. We have the chat room, which we're fixing to get into on this whole thing, and the chat room is going to be set around the ability for us to take the entire Skype chat and run it out of here. There is a API called Skype for COM that allows you to basically run the Skype API stuff in other programs. And right at the moment, we're having a couple of choices here. Skype itself, what it does is it creates a tunnel or a socket tunnel between you and whoever else is online when you choose to. Okay? And that's basically what happens. So there isn't really any true groups. There's not a group. What it is a set of names that are grouped together that when you send a message, you send it to everybody in the group. So I'm trying to emulate that same functionality in this program in order for us basically to move the Skype over here. Why do you say we do that? Well, simple. If you put in a Skype message as we've had before where my WB17 columns doesn't line up, or I'm trying to write this class and I never went to school. Things like this, well, we can grab that and I'm going to have it to where you can drop over here and drop it on there as a question. Or there'll be issues where you can have your own tidbits section and you can drop it over there as this is things that I want to keep. And then we move forward with being able to put in the search criteria where you can search both the titles and the text for keywords that you're looking for, things like this, and come up with the answers that you're looking for. And try to build a repository of information and solutions. Okay? Now, obviously, this is basically a one-man show, so any assistance is absolutely desired, necessary, do want, all that stuff. So, anybody wants to give an assistance certainly can holler, and I will certainly let you help. Okay? All right, Alan? So let's kind of go over what I have set up, and then we'll get into the coding of what I did to create this stuff. News groups, you can create your own news group. So if you are sitting there and you say, I need a news group for whatever reason you want, I like guns news group. You can go ahead and create your own by clicking this, and basically you can get a listing of the existing news groups that are out there, and you can create all of the news groups, and you can add a new group by just hitting the add here, and that add button will bring up, and you can create a whole new news group right here. You can make it private. Private means that whoever owns the news group is the one that decides who can be in the news group, who cannot be in the news group, and whether or not that you get to stay in the news group. So you can make a private news group. So you can have a news group that says, why I detest Andy's accent, and not let me in there to see what the answers say. Things like that can be going on. And then obviously the only thing about it is that I can suspend that news group, which tells you that, you can't be in the news group because I suspended it and nobody can post anything to it either way. So we can set that kind of stuff up. You can see we've already set up WINDEV for newbies. These are the new questions. I like to keep things separate kind of as a news group. This is where different pieces are coming in. I've already dragged and dropped some things in there, both answers and questions. WD tools. Now, this is the general area for WINDEV. Everything dealing with WINDEV. The WINDEV itself, the translator, a few other tools that they have for WINDEV only. Mobile, WINDEV mobile is for the mobile device, and then of course the WebDev. Services and jobs. These are things that you wish to either provide or wish to say, yeah, I've got a little contract I need somebody to help on. It's not necessarily a jobs area. It's more or less, I need help doing this. Anybody got some time to give me some help? And, if it's going to take a little bit over this, things like this. And what we've been discussing in there right now is this product right here, and try to do something with it. I got a general area. If you're going to be mad about something, go to it. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I don't want to hear how you don't like somebody or something happening. That is basically the chat, like over in the Clarion, if you want to talk about politics and stuff. That's what the general. And then WX DEF CON, that is a private group for the people that are going to the DEF CON this November. Questions during the week, during the sessions and stuff, I would dearly love if you would put them in there, including anything I have a question on the DEF CON. That way we know what they are and people can find those answers. WX Live was put together by our friend Mr. Pineapple and Arnold, and that's for questions on the website of WX Live. Okay. Tony's question, why don't I see all of these on my local program? Fairly simple. When you come into your program and click the search, you see the listing of every one of them that's there. Each one you highlight, you have to click the join, and then you'll see it on the left side show up. So obviously, what you haven't done is joined every one of them. Simple as that. Okay. I put the members list here. These are the people that are currently listed in our group that have been on this software and is in this section. So if I come down here to Web Dev, you'll see that the names changed. If I come down here to General, you'll see that the names changed. Live US, you see how they changed. And these are just the people that have signed up in that area. Okay? That's what that's for. Other than that, the rest of it's fairly simple. You got a new message here. If I'm coming into the services job, one of the areas here, I want to answer this or add a new here, and I want to say help with advertising. Need some decent assistance with ads. And hit save, and you'll notice that it shows up right here in our message list. Okay, fairly simple, nothing to it. This is done on planes, and I'll show you how that works in a minute, but you can see each one of them fairly simple that way. So as you can slide through, and you can see what's happening. WINDEV server, mobile, tools, the whole 9 yards. So it's not really rocket science. The chat room is going to be there. Hopefully we'll start that this weekend. Conference is going to be a area that we can have a conference as it moves forward. Steve, yes, it automatically refreshes. And what that means is if I'm presenting something or I want to talk, I can have a conference area that people can join in, and we're talking about one specific subject. If somebody else has, hey, let's go over to the conference and talk about what you're doing on WB, that's what that's for. That one's going to take a little time to put in, okay? Because I actually want to try to figure out how to get an API for screen sharing and put in there as well. Advertising, we, one of the things that I'm not really fond of, but I understand why. Those like myself, even, that provide a service to the community, either in consulting, training, graphics, things like that, I'm setting up an advertising section. And that advertising section will be a nominal little charge so I can help pay for the bandwidth. Nothing major, nothing expensive, nothing overly, and some of it will probably be traded. But there's a little bandwidth fee that I pay for the rack space server. And as this grows, donations are absolutely appreciated. And then tell me what else you want. It's not very hard. You can tell me whatever you want to do by just hitting the feedback button here. And what that sends me is make me a suggestion, report a problem that you run into with it. And you can send me a suggestion right there and say, hey, Andy, I'd like to see it do this. It is ours. Simple as that. The source code, if you allow me to at least get in the chat room stuff, as far as I'm concerned, it is open source as long as we don't use it commercially. Okay? So I'll build up a little agreement that you can have all the source you want as long as you don't use it commercially. And feel free to assist us, help us, do whatever you want to do. If you've got a half a day and you want to experiment with something, let's talk about it and deal with it, okay? And we'll certainly do it. Okay. The questions and feedback, which I've already got some. I actually got some, and let me kind of show you where that's been. It actually came straight over here to my requests and incidents. So let me get on there. You can see right here, I've got a NewsGroup tree short order that came from somebody asking to change the sort order and cannot cancel a reply. These automatically come in from the
Andy. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? I don't hear Andy. I hear you. Andy. Lost you. Okay, we lost Andy. 1 minute when he comes back. Well, anyway, what do we have? So if you haven't signed up for DevCon, let's see, what's today? Today is July 27th. Early bird ends end of next month. So put it on your calendar. November 7th. Does anybody want to say anything? You can turn your mic on. No. Must be a storm brewing in Tennessee or something. Watching for him. Hey Dave, you got your mic? Dave. Let me get Steve on here.
Hey, Arnold.
Oh, Andy is off on Skype too, so that's not good news. Hey, Steve. Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, Steve. How's it down under? Hey, you got anything to announce, Dave? Did you do any more tutorials since you?
The announcement is that we're about to go on the annual road trip, and while I'll be online and working on at least part of that time, I'm actually taking a summer break from WINDEV in an hour a day, which is the same thing happens every year for it. I did this for Clarion Magazine, so I'm doing the same thing for Dev Roadmaps just to take
It's a road trip.
Take the annual break. Yeah, you know, one of the places I'm actually going to be in, I'm going to be meeting up with John on this trip, which is going to be.
I heard. That's cool. because nobody visits John. He's out there in nowhere land.
Been through his town before. Hey, so do we have a what's the download link for this? Did Andy give that? I got on just a couple of minutes after the hour.
Download link for the recordings.
Chatterbox, no, for Chatterbox.
He'll tell us
Oh, okay.
when he gets back, but he is not back. Oh my goodness. Let me try. Maybe I should call his home. No, I better not. His wife might kill me. Just Skype him later if he doesn't come back here soon, because he actually. Let's see. Let me go find it. Andy's back. Okay, good. Let me go make him presenter. Wrong guy. Let's see. Oh, there you go, Andy.
I apologize. I had a random reboot. My machine just decided to reboot in the middle of what we were doing.
Maybe he had to go get coffee and then he's going to come back.
Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I just had me a random reboot.
Oh, nice. Do you want to share screen?
Yeah, just a second. Let me get my stuff back together here.
Okay. Yeah, Dave's online and he basically said, says, is he going to give us the link? I can give him the link if you want me to. Oh no. Andy dropped off again.
Uh-oh. Hope that's not another. I was getting some blue screens of death recently.
Oh no.
And I paved the machine over. Haven't had one yet, but
error loading gadget. Oh no. Oh, that's turn that AVG off. So, how long's this trip of yours?
I'll be on the road about 4 weeks.
Oh, nice.
I'd like to actually be able to take the 4 weeks and not work at all. That would be really nice.
Do you have a satellite? Do you have a satellite on it?
No,
Oh.
no. Just use the cell phone.
So you still be
Arnold.
connected, huh?
When no local wireless is available.
Yes, Arnold. Hello.
Okay.
Have you ever tried
Here,
one?
Andy.
Andy?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Tell me when you
Okay,
want to.
all right.
Your AVG stuff is.
I'm still waiting to be shocked about these other classes you've been writing.
I'm fixing to show you, but it rebooted on me, and I couldn't help that. It just went nuts. Sorry. Let me get things going. Let's go through. I was going to show you first of all the file structure that we're dealing with, because one of the things that are we ready? Are we recording yet again?
We've been recording and
Okay.
we got
Okay, that's fine. All right, just checking. One of the things that one of the reasons I've always never done trees is because I always thought they were a real pain in the butt. And Dave Harms never showed me a better way. So the thing about it is that with trees, the parent, child, grandchild, great grandchild, on down the line, in WINDEV is absolutely easy to do, and especially with the tables. Now you can do the regular trees, but I like the table, the tree tables, because literally having one single line of stuff usually is kind of useless to me. I really don't. I don't see any reason for it that often. You have it over here, yes, and we're going to have it down here probably, but as far as over here, you need to have multiple. That's all there is to it. So let's kind of go over a little bit of the file structure on here, just to kind of show you what's going on. You got the chat rooms, which is obviously the list of the rooms. You got the group area, which is a kind of a group. The member group, which is the group of area that you're joining. Okay. The link itself is dealing with your messages and what messages you've read, not read, different things like this, and whether you can get into certain things. That's what the XREF member message is for. So you can say, for this message, I'm doing this for this news group, whatever it is. But the biggest thing and the biggest one to understand is the news group messages. Okay, and all this is very simply a straightforward the message, the parent sysid, the news group it come from, where it came, who wrote it, where it's going to, if it's going to anybody particular, title detail, when it was created, and the message level, which is the tree level that it's on. I don't need the tree level anymore. I just need the parent sysid, and I'm going to show you how that works. The parent sysid is another message. If you highlight a message and hit hit reply, it grabs the message sysid of it and puts it in that parent sysid. So now WINDEV has a very slick little methodology to allow you to manage that parent-child, grandchild relationship and create the tree structures that way, and that's what we're fixing to show. Then I'm going to show you my update class. You hear that, Dave? Class. And we'll go from there. Let's go into the messages. This is the message area right here. Let's get this out of the way. And let's go into the fill data. My fill data routine is a view of all the messages. It grabs everything together that I'm looking for and brings it in as a single select statement. If you need to know, let's kind of go through this. It probably is. News message is the file I just showed you. Listing from it. We're going to interjoin you as a member. Okay. That way we get the name of where it came from. And then we're going to put it back in there as a left outer join, because you may not know where it goes to, but you do know where it comes from. That one there is to get the name of who you might have sent it to. Okay. And the last piece is mine, which is XREF member message, is saying whether or not I've read it, not read it, what I've done arbitrarily to that message, marked it as read, whatever it needs to be. And then I send whatever news group I'm currently in, and go from there. Okay. This is all done through the string build. The news group I'm on, I'm the user, and the filter, which is whether or not that I want to have the message read that flag as either 0 or 1, whether I've read the messages or not. That's all I've done. Okay. The query then pulls it back. Okay. And we do a couple of things. In the experimentations through CCS Project Pro, we kind of learned a few things as we worked with these tree tables. Number one is that there's always an index associated with the table itself. So if I go in there and say index equals table name, exactly what it is, just the TVT message, I get back whichever highlighted item that I'm currently on in the array or in the control. So I'm on the 4th one down, I get back 4. If I'm on the 7th one down, I get back 7. Okay, fairly simple. What that does is it gives you a methodology to seek or look for a particular item in the table by using table seek. It's just like looking through an array. Okay. So what I've done here is say, okay, I want to look for the message sysid, which is the unique ID for that message, and I want to find it. So I'm looking for that message sysid, looking for a true. If I find it, if that index is greater than 0, that means I found it. And I want to check to see whether the message red flag is also greater than 0. And if so, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to take it from bold to regular. I'm going to change its size, and I'm going to make it 2 different of the images. I'm going to change the image on that. Okay? Otherwise, if I don't find it, I'm going to make it color black instead. I'm going to bold it. I'm going to take the bold off again. Font size 8, and I'm going to assign these different images to it. Okay? 2 different types of images. Okay, now that basically sets up the fonts of what it looks like, the bolder fonts, the parent fonts, the child fonts, whatever it needs to be. Then, that's all my default. Then if I've got a parent sysid, if I read the record and it says, oh, I got a parent, I need to go find that parent. Okay, why do I need to go find that parent? Because basically I'm changing the aspect of what it is. I'm either going to add the child or not add the child based upon me finding that parent. So I'm going to go find the parent to find the subscript or the index, that same ID number, okay, of the message. When I find that message, I have to then add it, and this is really the cool part. It literally will insert itself in between other messages if needed. Okay? By using the table add child or table insert child, depending upon what I want to do. Since this is the first load, I don't have to insert the child. I can actually just do the add child. And it gives it that level. By putting the index that I returned as the first parameter after the table name, then what it will do is go ahead and give it a slight slide to the right, to the right, and you got your tree node. And we add in the rest of the information. Then I go back through almost the exact same thing up here. If it's red, it's like gray, I change the font. If not, I change, put it back the way I want. If my child total is greater than 0, this little statement comes from right here. And what I'm doing is selecting the count of the children coming back from that record. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if the child is greater than 0, then I want to change the images from just a note image now to a folder because it has children. So I change it from a regular little, looks like a little note type deal, and I change it to a folder to tell you that there have children's to these records. Okay? If it doesn't have a parent sysid, we just do a simple add line. Same thing, straightforward, nothing to it. Okay? And of course, our results then are what we have here. Let's see, service jobs would be a good one. You can see where I put the parent child, things like this. Let's turn off the hide red. Now you can see where I've got the different records. Here's the one with just the regular and all your little answers like that, just going through it. The change in the font size for the parent, the whole 9 yards. And that's exactly what it does. Fairly smooth, fairly quickly. Okay. Now, if I am updating a record, all I'm doing is updating the message and putting the change in there. It's really not that hard. So you're not finding anything major with this. The only thing I'm doing here, the find subscript is a little bit different because I figured out that since you have multiple levels on this, you really have to do 2 searches. If you just do a table seek on the primary, it's only going to do the first level, so you have to do a table seek on the children as well to see whether or not that you get a grandchild or a great-grandchild is what the deal is. So you have to do both of those at the same time. Okay? Any questions, throw them in there. Now let's go over the classes I'm using. And Dave, sit down now. I don't want you to get too excited here. Okay? But the classes, you can see, oh my God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And Dave, I did not build them all. Some of these are our Browse Form Manager classes and things like that that Pete and I have put together, and Pete's mainly put together. But I did create one called the Upgrade class. And the Upgrade class is built around the premise is that when I make a change to this software, you'll see sometimes when you fire it up, all of a sudden you'll see the image come up, then it'll go away, and you'll have a little block show up saying, hey, it's upgrading, it's downloading, and then replacing, and all of a sudden it fires up again. That's what this does. There's two phases to this. There's a little program that Pete wrote that he's had for a long time called the Updater that used to copy the EXEs and stuff from network files over to the workstations. It was very simple. Basically, it would bring down a zip file and shut down the original program, unzip, overwriting what's there, and then fire it back up. We built it again in here, and I decided instead of having just the raw code that I would make it a class and put it in my repository so I could put it in other programs. So I've assigned several different things. Number one is I have the connection that I need to do, and that connection is to the databases up there on my system that says this is the version you're supposed to be on. The GUI ID for the executable so I can find the record that it is. I want to see, check for upgrade. Do I check for upgrade? The database version, EXE version, the directory you're in, the file name I need to work with, the version number of that, and the application that we're going to call, and the database version. So basically, I'm looking at the database has to match the version of your program, in other words. Okay. When I come down, I have set up my connection to get to that system to do the job as part of the class, and then I do check for upgrade. I'm getting the complete directory of your current EXE. That's what this is for, is getting that there. Then I grab the EXE name, the length of it, the position of it. I make sure that I get just the name, exactly what I want, and then I get the version number. I go up to my database up there on the cloud, and I say, give me the version from the project management where it equals my program GUI ID. String build that and bring back the version from the database. That says, okay, what are we at? If that version does not equal the EXE version that we got, and we actually have a database version, and it's not this file name, and let me explain to you what that file name is. When you hit the Go button up here, the EXE file name you're running is WDTST. It's not your program. So in order to keep this thing from trying to download a version when it's not supposed to, I put that in there instead. And that keeps it from trying to run something, in other words. If that works, and it says, yes, I'm going to do in there, I'm going to run my application, the file name, with the GUI ID passing two different parameters, which is this program's file name and the GUI ID of this executable. The other program, what it's going to do, and I'll show you the record it pulls down. It goes up to that database up there and says, okay, get the NewsChatter. I'm supposed to be on 1.1.29, and this is the path or the URL, basically, of where the update that I need to download is. It finds it by the GUI ID, which is I did through a new, get GUI ID out of WINDEV. And assign that, and I'm allowed then to then says this is the program name without the exe, the version number, and this. And all I have to do is work that. So what I'm going to do right now is show you how this works fairly simply. We're going to make a slight change to the program here that I have been a little bit remiss in doing so. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go into the code. And I'm going to case conference, change source window. I can't do that. Case file. I know what I want to do. Right now, I don't want it to go anywhere near the file. Do this, okay? Send that thing straight to the news messages again. Let's go ahead and compile that. I'm running it. I can't run it at the same time. Try that again. Okay. Open the generation directory. I've got it right here. I'm going to move that to a compressed zip folder and call that update. That I put into my setup builder area where I have created the original installation anyway. So I'm gonna cut it there, put it in my chatter and paste it there. Overwrite that one there. Now we get this out of the way because I don't need it no more.
I got two questions, Andy.
Sure. Go ahead while I do this.
So when you build these classes, does WINDEV help you do unit testing?
On the classes?
Yeah, on the classes. Do they have?
Well, I haven't tried to do a unit test on the class yet. I will, and I am working on a unit test in the class for my fog bugs class.
Okay. And the other question is, what you just did, is there WINDEV facility to automate that process?
No.
No?
Nope. Now, well, okay. There's not a WINDEV method to do it. No. Is there an automated methodology to do it? It is about 70% finished right now.
Oh, so you write the automation part of it.
Yeah, and I'll show you that here in a sec because I'm adding to it. Okay. It's a work in progress, as I say. That's a neat way to do that. Now, if anybody has this program, at the current moment, if you'll shut it down and restart, you'll notice that it'll automatically right now upgrade to the next version. You'll see it do that automatically right now.
Yeah, okay. I remember that. Let me try it.
Yeah, try it.
Chatter.
Now this is all coming from the web.
It's downloading.
Yeah.
And it says it restart in 3 seconds.
Yep.
2, 1. There it goes.
And now you have the new version, and if you click on advertising, it'll basically stay in the same place.
It's updating again.
Yeah. Well, you may have had a couple because it's just you.
Oh.
Okay.
Another one.
You serious?
I got 3 now.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe I need a different number up there.
Oh, no.
Maybe it didn't upload.
129.
Is it redoing it several times? Okay.
Looks like different numbers.
Means, okay, the number ain't the same. Oh, well, might help if I got the right update zip over there. Sorry, guys.
That thing's going again.
It'll stop here in a sec.
Oh, it killed me.
It'll stop here in a sec. Okay. I put the wrong update program. Sorry, dude.
And you said it was me, huh?
No, it was me. Yeah. Just usually if something goes wrong, it's your fault, Arnold.
I know, but
you're the one who usually causes it.
True story.
Just saying that. The methodology that the methodology that I'm using to automate this process is here. Okay.
You want me to load it up again?
It should, yeah, you should be able to. It should work fine right now. This is what I'm doing, as you can see. If I go to my project for the news group, you'll see the application GUI ID is right here. And basically, this little button right here will generate that GUI ID through a WINDEV project. Okay? Now, what I'm doing with this next, because of this, is I'm going to add in a piece that will allow you to release this software. It'll have the path of where your executable is. So I'm going to be adding in some chunks in here where it says application path, which will have the path where you're generating your exe. Okay. And then a release, which will do both the items that I'm talking about. It'll create the update.zip. It'll move it up via FTP to the website and change the generation number to match the version in your exe. So is it going to be automated via WINDEV? Yes, but I'm building the pieces to do that. Tony's question, why can't you use the software factory to automate the update? You can use the software factory to do the entire compilation and everything. I don't know yet whether the software factory could actually update your software to distribute it completely web-wise. You can definitely use it to do it in-house, Tony. So if if you're a in-house programmer and you're rolling that piece out and to the office and get everybody, yes, it can do that, and it does do that via binary. Okay, but I have not got into the software factory far enough to say whether or not that it can do a web-based distribution, as in your program, the PDS Med. You got 300-400 offices out there nationwide using it. How do you distribute your new version? There's about two pieces that you and I have to do. Number one is that if we release a new version, we got two different things that we're releasing. Either we have to do any changes to the database at the same time we release the software, or it's a software release only. If you're doing the database changes, then you're going to have a methodology to upgrade the database. A methodology updates your schema in the database as you also upgrade your EXEs. And once you upgrade your EXEs or your database, then the version in the database must match at least 2 parts or 3 parts of the version in the EXEs. So it's going to get a little bit of fun doing this, because this is what we do here at TCS Tire. I have to go through all that stuff. Okay, I think the software factory is going to give me probably 99%. Okay, it's going to give me 80-90% of what I want. In other words, I'll be able to kick off the compile, let it do it on its own, and the next day it's ready to go. Whether or not that I can get the software factory to run a program at the end of that process, if it's successful, will be the key for the rest of this stuff. And that's kind of where I'm stepping through. I'm trying to get my facilities for doing specific things done of how the process works. Then I'll go into how to automate those processes, is what I'm going to do, Tony. Because, you and I both know the idea is to be a lazy programmer, figure out how to do it once and let the computer do it that way every time. Okay, that's our job. That's what we do. And that's what I'm doing here. Between what Pete's built in that updater, which is great, I'm able to take the pieces that I've built, which is the database side. I've got a whole synchronization for databases to go through. And I can distribute up in our server, and I'm not quite there yet, but I'm close. I can put up the program along with the new default database up on the server, along with the exe as one update.exe. This system will download it, fire up that program, attach the database, make sure that the schemas match 110%, and when they do, then it will kick off and replace the EXEs. They're up and running with the new set of EXEs. On the other hand, if the schema matching does not work, In other words, for some reason it decides that it cannot match the schemas of the database, it will then roll back all the changes, go back up to my system and mark that it failed. And all I have to do when I distribute something is look at my customer list or look at my client list up there and says, well, why did that one fail? And I can physically go over to and remote into their server and say, okay, let's try to do this manually and see what happens and why it failed and fix the problem. Usually it's probably because of table locks or a schema locks or something like that, but sometimes there's another glitch or something like that. But the whole idea is that when I distribute a set of programs or distribute a new release, that all I have to do is go home and go to bed, and the next morning I can come in and see that 15 or 20 of them have upgraded, and everybody's happy with the release. I don't have to do nothing else. And that's the purpose between this software here to manage that. If I can get the software factory at the end to run a program, then literally I can have that release. Okay. Just steps. It's just steps to manage the process. The world now, including mobile devices and everything else, managing that process can get to be a booger. We get to be a big bear, and that's kind of what all of this stuff is for, is to be able to manage that. This part right here, where I've got the different software programs, will end up now going into here as an internal window. So I'll have that managed together, allowing that to work. I've got FogBugs tickets now being loaded on here. So if I'm, like at TCS, we use FogBugs. So I'm integrating the two together back and forth. All kinds of things that we're into, and if you really want to see a slick class that Dave, you still alive out there? Just checking. Did he go away? Did he fall over?
He's passed out.
I'm passed out. And he's typing. I'm gobsmacked. Well, see, this is really going to get you, Dave, because not only is it a class, but I'm using HTTP GET and result to physically pull back information from FogBugs API. Okay, and the way that is, and I'll show you it is, I've got structures for each of the arrays that comes back from the HTTP request. That's what those are, is each one of the arrays come in and the entire bug structure that they have. Okay. I have private for different areas here, and I got public, which is each of the array elements. Now, this is some cool stuff, Dave, and I know you know it's cool because obviously you're wondering how in the heck did I figure this one out. So we got all of the arrays here, and I'm going to show you how this works. So if I come down here on the projects, get down, here's the list of the projects. Every one of them, I got the project as a node. I got attributes. These are the attributes that I'm selecting out of here. I declare a local of the structure. I pass the URL string, the list projects, which is their code to say, I want all this information. I do the HTTP request, and I get the result in my XML response. The XML response is obviously that. It's a full-blown XML response. I create the XML document here in WINDEV, and I loop through every one of the projects here, and I fill in the information for my array and then fill the data. Every one of these, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay. And then, of course, I'm doing the same thing going through, the bugs. It done the same thing with the bugs. But here's the cool part, and this is why I was telling everybody that a lot of this is the same as an array. And let me get down to it. See, that's not it.
You mean your structures? All those structures are like arrays?
Yeah, because see here, let me show you. Get out of the way. Okay. All right, so here's the window. This table here is the table of the bugs. Okay, so if I go to the description of this, now I've got that array that I've got filled with all the bugs. All I have to do on my content is tell it that I am coming from that browser, the FB bug, which is the array. That is the array elements. That is the actual physical array that I just filled. Stored variable is my IX bug. That's the one I want there. Okay. And then all my links and my files then go into the array elements. These are the actual array elements inside that array. Now, to me, this is just cool. I don't have to turn around and loop through the array, adding it to the table. I'm just assigning that entire array directly to the table. That's all I'm doing. That's it in a nutshell. So what happens, and I'll run it, that's the other thing I like. Just a second, it'll be over there in a second. Okay, so now when I come over here to my FogBugs tab, oh, the thing went nuts. That's one thing I don't. Go back here. Thank you. All right. When I come to my FogBugs tag, see, there's all my FogBugs tickets. Those are the same as my FogBugs tickets. And I'll prove it to you.
Well, you sure don't have many tickets.
I'm good.
Let me
see,
Skype to
there's the actual tickets on the FogBugs list. See, this is my sprint for this week. I'm almost done. Okay, that's the actual FogBugs tickets on the web. That's the same FogBugs tickets here. Okay, that's what those are. Slick. It's just absolutely slick. Now, to me, you can take that one of two ways. Either everything can be a class now, and you can throw it in there, or you can use it appropriately. I have a tendency to use it appropriately. Okay, you know, my databases, I'm not going to create a class to store the information twice. Okay, I'm not going to load the database into an array in a class and then load that on the screen. That's silly. I might do that for lookups and things like this that's constantly being used throughout the system. Yes, I would do that. But I wouldn't do it for my database stuff because, first of all, if I want to change something, then I got all kinds of issues with it. So, okay. But on the other hand, if I'm the DBA type guy and I am giving it to other people to do all of the development, then yes, I'm going to make classes and tell them that they do everything in the class. I'm not going to let them go straight to the database because they can screw something up. So by doing it in a class that way, you can insulate out whether or not somebody could hurt your database. Okay, so there is some advantages to it. As far as the HTTP requests back and forth, the APIs, things like this, it is much easier to do it in class. Now, I'm going to give you a little tidbit of one of my next projects that you're going to go, oh, that's cool. Okay. Which is the Microsoft Translator. This is going to be a class that I'm going to build that's going to go into a piece of software that allows you then to use the product that WINDEV got. They've got a product. But what it's going to do is allow you to then translate your information in WINDEV into a different language and put it back into WINDEV. Right now, you can get translations from English to French and from French to English. Well, I'm happy about that. That doesn't help Spanish to English, English to Spanish, South African, whatever language you want to go to. It doesn't help in those. And there is nothing reasonable out there, nothing very reasonable out there to help you do that. Or at least I haven't found anything. If anybody runs across something, feel free to holler. So, but I did run across Microsoft's Bing translator, and I can send in the information. I started looking at Google's API for translator, and the problem with it is pretty simple. It doesn't allow to do text. It does full web pages and stuff. So at least I couldn't find the text by itself. But this one here also has a API for it for .NET and stuff like that, so it should be fairly easier to work with. But when this is built, in essence, it's going to take the text file that gets generated out of WINDEV when you use their WINTS, the international thing, and translate it all in whatever language you are and put it back in. So in essence, I will have a dynamic translator on the fly with a class, is what I'll have, by using HTTP methods. Yes?
Yeah, I like that.
I think so too. I think that's, it's one thing I've been looking for a long time. Talk to you later, Tony. So, any questions on what I'm doing with the Chatterbox? Feel free to holler. Download it. Okay? Use it. Because it not only will help you, it will certainly help everybody else. You also have the new feature over here on the side with the rating, which is little stars. I don't know what's happening with the highlight bar, how it does that, but it does it, and I haven't figured out how to fix it. So I think it's really just kind of a display bug out of them. But it allow you to rate them as well. But if that's what it's for. And I'm hoping that it really gets up to the point where, everything starts getting in there and we can start doing the search, because that's one of the things I'm going to get into is now putting up a whole block on here to be able to search for things and stuff. But anybody certainly want to help, they can certainly give me a hand. And all the slide bars work. I got that one. That one.
Yeah, that slide, those resizings really works well.
Yeah, they do. They do really well. I'm really happy about it.
I got to talk to you about some things, though.
Okay. Things that you don't like about it? It's called feedback, son. Feedback.
Okay,
all right.
So you better get back to work.
I got to go to work. I'm still at the house, so I still got to shut down and head on into the office. So y'all have a good day. Thank
you for coming, and be good at it.
I will. Be good or be good at it if you can't get it straight. And Dan, give me a holler. We'll talk about the chat thing. You and I can go back and forth with it. We'll try to get the class together, going back and forth to fix that up correctly.
Did I miss something here?
Yes, you did.
Did I miss the link?
The link to the... somebody put it in there earlier.
Just slide the chat all the way to the very top.
Steve posted it again. Thank you very much, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll get this whole thing rolling and going and blowing, and we'll expand this to the size and scope of Texas, so that way we know it's as huge as it's ever going to be, gentlemen. Okay. And,
cool stuff, Andy.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm really excited. I mean, after so many years of seeing new technology kind of pass me by, I'm really excited about being able to build some of the stuff that I've always wanted to build. And I've been very happy with this. I've been very happy with it.
So WINDEV's doing the job for you, huh?
WINDEV is doing a fantastic job to me. I do have a WINDEV mobile application that is currently out there on the Google Play. It is the FogBugs interface. It's going to be expanded and updated, more and more stuff to it, but it actually is out there, and there is going to be a couple of more out there when I get some other items working. I'm going to start working on creating my own web services through WINDEV. I've created one, and Dave, calm, Dave. You do have a heart condition. I am going to build web services, so it's going to be fun.
He's growing leaps and bounds, Dave.
He is. This is cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing those unit tests too. I think that's one of the really neat things about WINDEV is that it gives you sort of the whole project management flow wrapped up into one bundle, so you can actually see it at a glance. You have it integrated with that. So get those unit tests going.
Yeah, from here on out, I'll be doing unit tests on this. I'll be starting to build the unit tests on this NewsGroup chatter, especially with other people in it. I want to be able to do the unit tests. So
well, Dave likes TDD, right? He likes to write the test before you. He likes test-driven stuff.
Yeah.
So is the official name NewsGroup Chatter?
Yeah, why not? Somebody got a better name, let me know.
I call it the Chatterbox.
You can call it Chatterbox. That's fine. I'm be honest with you, I'm not a big marketeer guy. I know, I make the engines run. That's what I do. So if somebody says that name sucks, here's a new name for it, I'll be glad to consider it and change it if I like it too. How's that?
We can't.
And this is the cloud. It's no longer the fog. Now, the fog is defined as the computer underneath my desk that everybody gets to. This is actually the cloud. It's a Rackspace Linux server hooked to Postgres.
Oh, is that where they got fog bugs from? Because it's the cloud.
Well, I guess. I don't know. But like I said, somebody says, well, where is this? Is this out on the cloud? And when I first fired it up, I said, no, it's really on the fog because it's low and it's underneath my desk. Yeah, but now it's on the cloud. I moved it a week ago over the weekend, and believe me, I had a lot of fun. You do not know how much fun it was for me to get into the Linux operating system and try to set it up.
Was it fun?
Linux is a blast.
Oh yes, I mean just a blast, an absolute blast. Yes.
It's easier now. When I first started using Linux, I had to do kernel compiles to get it to do the things I needed it to do.
No, I don't have PHP app running to the SQL connection. No, I do not, Steve. It is a direct connection to the database. I understand that process, Steve, that everybody thinks that they need to do that, but no, I've got a direct connection to it.
Is that safer?
Linux another session. I'm a kid. No way. No way. Not from me. Ain't no way in hell. Dave can do that one. All I can say is probably not going to be the fastest one in the world, Steve, being that you're in Australia. That's why we want to do the offline reader. Okay, so that way it's doing it in the background and you're fine. And I just didn't get that built yet. And so we're working on that. So we'll have the offline reader in the background.
Hey, there's unit testing and all that, but is there speed testing or performance testing?
There is a performance analysis that's on there. And I think that's a pretty cool feature because it'll tell you if you're actually getting into or looping through the same process multiple times when you don't have to. It'll also tell you some things that you don't really care about, like, oh, you don't use this procedure. Okay, well, I know I don't use that procedure. It's in my globals that I downloaded from my repository, and I have full aware that I need the other two, but I don't need this third one. That kind of thing. So that's kind of the way it works. Okay? All right. So, but Steve, I mean, if You know, if Ben doesn't get off the plate and finish the offline reader, I'll be glad to let you do the offline reader, Steve. That's fine with me. All right, I got to go to work. Y'all be good or be good at it. We'll see you next time.